What's up, guys? Back with Moment Makers podcast. It's Eli here. We don't have Brendan here today. He's got a little bit of a schedule conflict, but you guys can go visit our last episode. Basically, he did an interview with his wife, so we got a little bit of a cool perspective on women's struggles going through depression and then also as a mother. So go check out that episode. But today, back here with my buddy Alex. You want to say hey?
Yo, what's up? Thanks for inviting me on the team.
Yeah, for sure. We're just here today so we can talk about a little bit more of like perspective from a friend, basically somebody who is friends with somebody who's dealing with depression or, has struggle with a mental illness. And just to get a bit of perspective, we're going to talk about things you could possibly do as a friend to help them out, and also to get a little bit of perspective and see what the struggles as a friend being affected by that, and kind of going over what are the effects to the surrounding environment and to the surrounding people that may basically be struggling with a mental illness. So basically, what is kind of like your backstory? What is your experience so far that's kind of brought your attention to the existence of like depression and mental health?
So recently, I had two friends that were going through depression, and it was like a tough time for them. One of them was like homesick because he goes to college and it's like far away from his family, and he's not really close by like any close friends that grew up with him in high school. And another one was for a girl, and both of them were going had a girlfriend, and he had a tough breakup, and the other one was mad in love with this one female, and she like hurt him because he put in so much time and effort into this one girl, and the girl like didn't recognize him. But I thought he was a good guy, and seeing that from my point of view as a friend, I try to help him, be there for him. But it was hard for me to do because I have dealt with like family depression, like my family has gone through like many things, but like I wasn't used to it,
Yeah.
Like it's always like something different that occurs. Like family, friends, they all have different problems. Like it keeps you on your toes, like how to help them. And me at a young age, I usually ask my mom, like what should I do and how should I do this? I go to different people for help, and it was basically like just hard to like help a friend that I didn't know how to help.
Yeah, so would you say there's kind of a bit of a struggle for yourself, kind of feeling useless or, kind of not knowing what to do?
Yeah, I did feel, to be honest, I did feel useless. Like, I wanted to help him so much, and I offered him help. Like, one of my friends, I offered him to go to see a therapist, but, not everybody is comfortable speaking about their feelings. So he came to me, but at the same time, he was nervous to talk to me. So it was hard for me to help him because it felt like he wasn't accepting it. But my other friend, on the other hand, everything, I'm not going to say everything gets better with time because sometimes that's not the case for everybody else. But some problems, you're just going to it's going to be hard to go through it. But at the end, I feel like you'll be stronger,
Yeah. I'm glad that you actually mentioned kind of the struggle with people that are feeling comfortable, because honestly, when it comes to somebody who's dealing with depression, it's extremely hard for them to even accept it in the first place. So as a friend, the best thing that you can do is just be there for them when they are ready. Just keep on reminding them, hey, I'm here for you. Just keep on trying to talk to them, not trying to force it, but just keep it natural. Like for instance, for me, when I was going through my depression, one of the best things that my best friend Tyler did for me was basically he just went to my room and said, hey, let's go for a ride. He didn't ask, hey, let's talk, nothing like that. He just pretty much grabbed my ass and put me in the car. And then we just went for a cruise. And what that did was that it just made me realize that I'm not alone. It didn't leave me alone in my thoughts, so it didn't give me time to make the situation worse. And it was actually a good bonding experience. So I was able to go through the process and go on this journey with support. And it's actually really good to honestly just not press too hard, because when you do that, it can kind of make somebody shut down, because then they feel like they're being watched or they're being judged, or even if you're coming from a good place, it's always difficult for them to understand that you just want to come from a good place, because they're coming from a more of a negative mentality, and it's not even their fault. They're already going through a lot, so sometimes you just gotta take baby steps and text them here and there and say, hey, I'm here, or just say, how you doing, or ask them if they want to hang out. But you don't really have to mention their feelings per se, but just let them know that you're there through actions. And then just keep them included, because the worst thing you can do is just like back off. Yeah, because then once they get isolated, then that's where it gets really bad, because then they start feeling alone, and then sometimes that can lead to the worst case scenario, which we always want to prevent, especially nowadays with the rates of suicide staying steady. I think the last time I checked, it was like among the LGBTQ alone, just the LGBTQ is about 40% experienced some kind of depression or actually commit suicide. So it's a very serious issue. I want to go and look further into the general public, because I know the last time it was a couple years ago, it was like up to 30 or 40% for the teenagers.
Mm-hmm.
So I want people to understand that it doesn't matter the age, whether you're older or whether you're a teenager, everybody's going to experience depression, and it is very much around us. So as far as like for you personally, like what have you done to like avoid feeling depressed, or what have you done to like basically keep yourself in better spirits so that you could actually be there for your friends?
I'm not gonna say, well, I mean, I haven't felt like depressed, like sad for, like really sad, but I have felt sad,
Mm-hmm.
It's just, but I think it's like, I think that something that gives off into it, like not feeling depressed, is people you're around.
Mm-hmm.
Like what do you do, because you could just be home like not doing anything, and you're stuck in one room, just you're literally trapped with your thoughts. Mm-hmm. Like you're just thinking instead of going outside. And I was listening to your last podcast, how you were saying that the gym, you went to the gym, like to help you, and I think that actually helps out a lot. And I love to work out, and that's literally what I look for at the end of my day, like, or in the beginning of my day. Like that's like my highlight. Like I love the gym. I wouldn't take it away. And the people I'm with, like they make me happy. I'm like my family, my friends. I'm thankful, and that's a good thing that I have that right now. Like I wouldn't say that everybody has that. So I guess I think I appreciate who I'm by, and I'm fortunate. I think I'm fortunate, even though I probably don't have as much as other people,
Yeah. No, you hit some pretty good points, because a lot of people don't realize that the people that you're surrounded by has a huge effect. Actually, just this morning, I think I saw this quote, and it said, a dead battery can't charge a dead battery. So put yourself around chargers so that you can be recharged daily. And essentially what that is you want to be around people that are like-minded, who have goals and are ambitious and supportive, because there are going to be days where you're going to feel down and out, and especially for those dealing with mental illness or depression, they really need that. And the problem is that they kind of battle with wanting to be isolated because they feel alienated from dealing with it. But we encourage them to surround themselves with a lot of support. That's why, you have a lot of support groups, you have like retreats, and I always say, like, your character reflects off of your friends. You gotta be very wise about who you hang around with and who you spend the most time with, because that energy and that mentality is going to bounce off of your friends, and you can absorb it unintentionally. I'm not going to lie, like I've had a couple of friends that weren't very beneficial. Mm-hmm. And I noticed whenever I was around them, I always kind of felt down. I was kind of like always complaining and getting negative. But then once I started going to the gym, and I met Angel, your cousin, and then all three of us started working out, and then met some of the other guys here at the gym, and it was really nice. It was very refreshing, because coming here to the gym, we just focused on bettering ourselves, and
it's a whole community. We got, everybody else, right?
Yeah, for real. And then honestly, one of the best things I like is that we always hype each other up.
Yeah.
Even if we may be joking around and shit,
people will come in to work with us too, right?
Yeah. See, like for instance, like Rogelio, like
right?
he gets pumped up for real. So I mean, with that, it's a prime example, like just having that support system. And I always want to encourage you. If somebody doesn't feel comfortable with therapy, like you were saying, your friend, you don't want to keep pushing it. You can like remind them here and there, like, hey, whenever you're ready, I think it's a good idea. But until they get to that point, you just gotta be able to give them what they're ready, what they can handle, and then that'll make a huge difference. And then even though I know Brendan and I in past episodes have talked about like diet as we're sipping on smoothies here.
They're healthy smoothies.
Yeah, they're pretty good. I'm telling you gotta try the peanut butter and jelly next time. Protein, guys, not just a sandwich. But it's essential. I mean, because like we were just talking about earlier while we were working out, I was feeling like really gassed and tired because I haven't been eating right the past couple days. So that makes a huge difference. You want to make sure you're eating healthy, not eating garbage, and you don't want to sit here and be starving yourself, because then you start really feeling tired, and everybody gets cranky when they're tired and hungry. So just making sure that you're fueling yourself right. So like when it comes to working out, like how do you feel like it's affected you in your life?
Working out?
Yeah.
Honestly, I could tell that I gained so much more confidence. I'm not like, even though I probably wouldn't be like, go up to anyone and like talk to them, I would say like it increased, Yeah. Personally, I could say that.
You can say like it boosted your self-esteem.
Yeah, self-esteem, Obviously, I want to improve in a lot of things, but I'm not saying like that that I'm not confident, right? And working out actually like gives me a hobby, gives me something to do, and also that I look forward to it. So like I look forward to seeing my cousin. I haven't reached out to him, and that was like one of the reasons. The first thing I reached out to him was to go to the gym with him and start working out with him. And now we actually we haven't talked in a long time. Me and Angel.
Yeah.
Like I'm not saying I hate him like that kind of talking. It was just like
just busy with life.
Yeah,
and all
like
that.
like one of the cousins that you barely see, basically.
Yeah. And
then I reached out to him, and I feel like our bond is like so much stronger. He hits me up like to go to the gym, like family parties. It's like cool.
Well, that was interesting. We have a couple. I don't know. Somebody was screaming over there, but hopefully they're okay. That's Chicago for you guys. I'll tell you that. But you were saying like it's kind of built you guys' bond and everything.
Oh, my bad. Yeah, like our bond has. I was distracted.
No, that's cool, man. Dude, here in Chicago, man, you
that
never know.
was like the scariest scream ever.
Yeah, guys,
if
you. Yeah, it was like almost like a zombie cry out scream, like someone was biting the crap out of them. But yeah, if you guys so you guys can understand, like we were sitting in my car outside the gym, gotta make that. Yeah, so we're making time.
Legs.
Yeah, we finished up legs. So like we're just making up time. So you guys, we're always trying to push to make sure we get these episodes out. So we have to do it whenever we can. But yeah, that was kind of creepy. But back on topic here. Basically, so you were saying that the gym helps you build your bond with your cousin and kind of helps you guys get closer.
Right.
So in essence, when there's a commonality with a goal, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's always good to have people that are like-minded. So I feel you on that, because Angel and I, we've known each other for like 4 years now, something like that. Man, time's flying. And this is like the closest we've ever gotten, because like we support each other. We go work out and we hang out every once in a while. When you become of age, we can go to the bar together. Otherwise, we'll still have like game nights and stuff. But yeah, I mean, it's essentially understanding that we're there for each other, and it's crazy how just something as simple as the gym brought us all together. And I think, like, honestly, the reason why the gym is so emphasized is because it's a place of self-improvement. I mean,
I think it's different for everybody else too.
yeah.
Like one of my friends said that video games was a way to like, you know, let go of stress. And I mean, I could see kind of how it works, but I mean, getting pissed off, like, you know, playing a game.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's just something different other than the gym. You know, it doesn't have to be the gym.
Yeah.
It could be like a hobby. You know, like cooking food, like knitting. That's just like random things off the top of my head. You know, I just think that it's different for everybody. It doesn't have to be the gym. You know.
Yeah. And that's a good point, because that's something that me and Brennan were talking about. Like, some of my other stress relievers, I like to go on drives late at night, listen to music. I'll draw.
I love music. Like,
yeah.
I feel like, yeah, like I just like to listen to it, and like the ride home, like coming back, getting out of work, like it's like perfect.
Yeah, and you get out late too, so you ain't got no traffic.
Yeah, 12.
Yeah. In Chicago with their traffic, it just actually raises my stress. That's why I like going late at night. So you got a good setup.
Right.
But I mean,
it sucks though, cause it's like the whole day. Like I work from 3:45 to 12, and then like in the morning, I like to go to the gym, and then it's like barely any time for me to, like, you know, feel young. Like I feel old, even though I'm young. I'm 19, and to me, I hate saying this, like, but my mom was right. Like, and you know, she's most of the time obviously gonna be right. You know, she has way more experience in life than I am ever gonna get. You know, she told me, she says she wished she was young, and you're gonna wish that too. And it's so true, because, you know, I work from 3:45 to 12. Yeah. And then that's like the whole day. Like, what am I gonna do at night? Like, I have work the next day. You know, I have to go to bed like early, or I stay up late, like till 2, right? And I only get like 2 hours of playtime. 2 hours of you know, just for me. You know, and then like that's the thing I hate the most. Like that gets me sad. Like working like for so long, and it just doesn't make me feel like young. Like I feel old, you know?
Yeah, no, I understand. Well, one thing that I like to tell people, and like for instance, I've had this talk with my girl. It's all about perspective. You got to think about, like, what do you want to do for the rest of your life? And that's a huge question, and a lot of people will get stressed out by that. But the beautiful thing is that we're not on a time schedule. I've known people, like, for instance, in the tattoo industry, they haven't started tattooing until they were like 30, 40. Yeah, people start at all different kinds of times. So I mean, there's time. But I also wanted to say, because like I learned this from my mom, you know, because I had the same frustration. This was back when I was working.
Shout out to moms.
Yeah, for real.
Shout out to moms out there,
guys. I encourage you, don't take your parents for granted. Don't take the elderly for granted. I've talked to some strangers that are a little bit older. Probably one of the best talks I ever had was when I worked at a restaurant. This elderly guy, was probably like 60 or 70, was sitting there just chilling and eating. And it was a slow time, so I went over there, started talking to him, and you know, he shared his life story. And the one thing that he said that really stuck with me, and this was like 7-8 years ago, and it's still with me, and that's how much it impacted me, was that he said, in every moment, soak it in, because eventually it'll pass, and then they'll just become memories. So he said, don't waste your life working and not looking at your surroundings. He's like, work, but then also have fun with it. And it made a lot of sense, because now that I'm working 3 different jobs all at once, I could be sitting here stressed out, freaking out, and being like, you know what, I'm still in my 20s, I should be out partying, doing whatever. But then I think about it, it's like, this is my moment that I get to invest in the dream that I want. So like, I'm working Uber and driving these crazy hours, and then working at the shop, working late till 11, 12 o'clock at night, working like 12, 14-hour shifts. And then on my off days, I'm working construction. So I'm on the same boat as you, man. I do have my days I'm extremely exhausted, but then I just remember, like, it's all for a purpose.
I just feel like people need to learn how to take time for yourself, because I feel like that would help out a lot as well.
Yeah. That's why, like, the gym is part of my my me time.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah, so I always encourage people, like, don't get too engulfed in your schedule. You know, try and keep a positive mindset.
Try to make time.
And if you're not happy with it, change it. Figure something out. Because, like, I've met people through Uber who, you know, you can tell that they're well off. picking them up from downtown in their suits and stuff, and then they're talking about business and all that. And a lot of them, for some reason, people get comfortable talking to me, and they'll tell me like that they're miserable, and it's because they're so engulfed in work that they don't have time for themselves. And that's why I always say that it's important to have your free time. You know, whether you're single, in a relationship, whatever kind of work you're doing, no matter the situation, you always need time for yourself. And that's a lesson that I learned recently, especially like in my relationship, is that, you know, if you become too engulfed in anything, you know, engulfed in your girlfriend, your boyfriend, wife, husband, work, all this stuff, and you're not devoting any time to yourself, it's almost like you begin to rot away, because you're not doing any self-care. It's almost like you're a car, you're not doing any regular maintenance, so then you start breaking down. And that's why I always say, like, you want to give yourself the premium fuel, having a good diet. You want to do your oil changes, making sure that you're spending quality time by yourself, and basically recharging, taking vacations, you know, doing whatever you got to do to make sure that you feel good about yourself, and discovering what makes you happy. And part of that, as a friend, is you also want to remind that to the person that's struggling with depression. You got to remind them, like, hey, it's okay to invest in yourself. It's okay to
support goes a long way.
Yeah, exactly. You're basically, because the best way that I can describe from personal experience about depression is that it's like a black cloud that like completely impairs your vision. You don't see anything other than your depression. Like, you wake up thinking about depression and feeling sad and being sorry for yourself and all these shitty experiences, and then like you go throughout your day, and the whole time you're just thinking like, man, I feel like crap, this sucks, it's horrible. And then late at night you're sitting there in your thoughts doing the same thing. So it's good to have somebody to be able to like blow away that cloud for a little bit and remind them, hey, there's some great things to think about in life, and then, you know, remind them what they actually enjoy.
Right.
And that can go a long way. And also, it's good practice for yourself, because part of learning is releasing it and teaching to others.
It's nice that. So what I was thinking about was that I think it's nice that to show someone that they care about you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, even though like you probably wouldn't. I don't really say that a lot. Like, only to like my mother and my father, like my family, you know.
Yeah.
But I appreciate my friends and my family like so much.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was talking with my friend, you know, one day, and you know, he heard the same stories. You know, two of our friends were going through depression, and one time we were talking, me and the other friend that wasn't, you know, he asked me, he said, wow, like I wonder how do you feel? You know, like he asked me how I felt, and like that made me feel like it made me feel nice, like he cared about me. You know, he asked me how I felt, like that it just showed that he cared about me, you know. And I just like the feeling that he cared for me, that he told me like, how do I feel? And like nobody asked that, you know. They usually ask the person that's going through it. Like, they don't ask the person in the middle.
Yeah, because honestly, it can get to a point where you might be carrying their load.
Yeah,
that's
kind of what it felt like, to be honest. Like,
yeah.
not as much, you know, obviously.
Yeah.
But like,
yeah, man, that's why like even when in a professional field, like when I worked as a mental health professional, one of the first things that they asked me in my interview was, do you have a personal therapist?
Mm-hmm.
Because as human beings, we're emotional.
Right.
So we're very social, we connect with people, and especially if you're working in that field, man, there's so much crap that's happened to these people. It breaks your heart. You know, I've met guys that have been accused of doing things, and I've met people that have been abused and all kinds of crazy things, and it's heartbreaking, like, when you really think about it. And like, you know, you forget that you're a professional, and then you start feeling emotional and all this, and it's natural. So then that's why it's very important to take care of yourself, and that rolls over to relationships and friendships, all that. You know, you want to be able to help people, but you got to still remember that you have to prepare yourself and take care of yourself. I actually was just talking to one of my other friends. You know, he has a family and all this, and now he's realizing like how much he has to take care of himself so that he can be there for his family. Mm-hmm. And that's a huge reality that most people don't think about.
He was on the podcast, right?
No, he's actually, hopefully we're gonna get him on this month.
Okay.
It's him and his girlfriend, and they have a little baby. So yeah, it's a whole new experience. But regardless whether you have a kid or not, you gotta understand that, like, if you want to help people, you have to be ready to help people, and that includes self-care. So if you are honestly feeling overwhelmed, or you feel like you aren't ready to partake, then just be honest. Take some time to yourself. Still be there for that person, and be like, but you don't have to be as involved. So you can tell them, like, you can talk to me or whatever. Or if you need help trying to figure out how to help somebody, like you did when you came to me,
Right.
that's good, because then you're not trying to stress yourself out figuring it out by yourself. The worst thing anything someone can do is try and figure everything out by ourselves. We're social people. We have adults and elderly people for a reason. They have the experience, the wisdom, and the best thing we can do is surround ourselves with those people, because otherwise we sit here with like-minded people the same age who hasn't been with the same experience. They're gonna sit here and bounce off the same ideas and thoughts as you, so you guys are not gonna get anywhere. It's like having a store and they're all new people. They're not gonna know how to run the business.
Right.
So it's always good to have somebody that has a little bit more experience and knowledge. And I think in this day and age, especially with the Hispanics, we have this sense of pride that we always want to do stuff by ourselves, and it ends up shooting us in the foot. It's okay to put down the pride and talk to somebody, get some help. Yeah.
Jigs.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, that's honestly, you're shooting yourself in the foot, and you're stalling your own growth when you do that.
Right.
When you're talking to somebody and you're gaining that experience, they're going to give you a perspective that you may not think about. And that's why it's always good. That's why people go to therapists. That's why people go to support groups. Everybody has different perspectives, so it's good to talk to somebody.
Yeah, get some help.
So, I mean, to kind of bring this episode to a close, a little bit of a shorter one, but we just wanted to get something out to you guys and to share a little bit of perspective on dealing with this as a friend. In short, basically just be there for them, but don't be too pushy. Remind them of the good times. Don't act differently with them. Just be there for them and be a good friend. Just want to remind you guys to follow us on Instagram, Moment Makers Live, and you can see our journey, Brendan and I, and see the support that we're getting. We have our merch out. So you can check out on our website, Moment Makers, at Spero Cloth, and support us, and we'll be able to continue to spread this community. We do have our discount running for the big launch, this podcast. You get 10% off, and we'd like to see you guys continuing to give us feedback. If you guys continue to leave us reviews and everything like that, we'll be reaching out to you guys about a special discount and potentially winning a new shirt. We do have a winner, but I'll be meeting up with Brennan so that we can actually announce it. We have been talking with him, and he picked out an awesome shirt. So if you guys are interested, go check out our website, Spero Cloth, and see the shirts and sweaters that we have. We will be coming out with new stuff in a few more months. And we want to thank you guys. Thanks, Alex, for being here.
Thanks.
And remember, guys, have times for yourselves, stay positive, and keep making moments.